In recent years, the rapid innovation of science and technology has brought incredible benefits to our lives. However, as we progress in our understanding of the physical world, the average person continues to suffer in the internal realms of psychology and emotion. Just as some people become specialists in the physical world, like engineers and scientists, others have become specialists in psychology, the study of the human mind. Those who work in a counselling capacity go by many names. We have psychologists, psychiatrists, psychotherapists, social workers, life coaches, spiritual gurus, and hundreds of variations of each of these. Though they all have important differences in qualifications, methods, and areas of focus, they all share key similarities. They are someone you can talk through your problems with, someone who will help you explore your own mind. At their heart, the role each of them play is of a knowledgeable guide. They are impartial, well-informed, and dedicated to helping you live the best life that you can live. Unfortunately, society is still in the process of overcoming the stigma that for years has been attached to seeing a counsellor. For many people, there is a lot of shame that comes from discussing feelings. Though it occurs for both genders, many men in particular were brought up to believe that it is unmanly to discuss or even feel emotions. They are told, even from a young age, that the only appropriate response to difficult emotions is to toughen up, which means to pretend that those feelings don't exist. There is also the stigma that counselling is only for people who are crazy or unstable. Occasionally, you will still hear people say, "You need to see a therapist," as an insult. In other cases, there is the perception that seeing a counsellor is for failures, for people who are weak. Nothing could be further from the truth. Those who are generally considered by society to be successful, people who are leaders in their field or enjoy lots of healthy and enriching relationships, are among the most likely people to see a counsellor because they can recognize how beneficial it is to their lives. Rather than viewing their visits to the counsellor as a sign of weakness or failure, these highly accomplished people feel uplifted, knowing that they have the courage to explore their emotional issues and consciously set life goals. By seeing a counsellor, they send the message to their subconscious that they are valuable and that their mental well-being is worth prioritizing. By seeking out a counsellor, they improve their self-esteem. Of course, seeing a counsellor is not the only way to explore your own psychology or make improvements in your life. You could attend personal development courses, go on spiritual retreats, or watch inspirational videos on YouTube. Whenever you read a self-help book, there are bound to be some insights that you can apply to your life. These same insights could be gained through some deep and honest conversations with friends, family, or your romantic partner. All of these are wonderful ways to learn about yourself and make improvements in your life. However, there are opportunities made available that are unique to the experience of counselling. For many people, life is confusing, and it is difficult to understand the world and their place in it. Human beings have a strong desire for purpose, and yet few people know what they want to do with their lives. Problems like these are extremely difficult to deal with alone. You could read books, attend courses, and turn it over in your mind 1,000 different ways, and just end up going in circles. When you encounter an unconscious block like this, it is essential to externalize your thoughts and allow someone else to help with the process. You might say to a counselor, "I'm dissatisfied with my life, but I don't know why. I want my life to have meaning, but I don't know where to start." A counselor will then ask you questions, gently taking you deeper into your own psyche so that you can find the answers that you need. This is the kind of work they are experienced in, and when this process is facilitated properly, it can lead to new insights and powerful breakthroughs. Of course, this process could be carried out by a close friend or romantic partner. Unfortunately, many friends get stuck at the level of validating your feelings and don't push you to explore the deeper issues. Ideally, we should all aspire to be patient and courageous enough so that we can help those we love find meaning in their lives and deepen their relationship with themselves. However, even if you enjoy many close relationships of this nature, there are some important qualities that are unique to a counselor. Though they have the very best intentions, close friends and family will always have their own agenda that may impact their ability to be unbiased in the process. A professional counselor has the benefit of being separate from the circumstances of your life. For example, if you felt dissatisfied in your work, a counselor would encourage you to explore those feelings, knowing that doing so could lead to new insights and growth. Whereas a romantic partner, who might genuinely want to help you, could become terrified at the prospect of you leaving your job because of the fear of being financially destitute. Without even realizing it, they may steer the conversation away from this area or interject with their fears and concerns before you had finished exploring your own feelings. What is so valuable about seeing a counselor is that it puts the focus completely on you, which is a rare experience in life. Children of parents who are frequently busy or preoccupied often subconsciously pick up the message that they have no right to expect to be the focus of attention, that their role is to make the lives of other people easier. A counselor is on your side, completely dedicated to you. For many people, this kind of devoted attention meets a basic human need that was never fulfilled properly. This alone is extremely healing. By seeing a counselor, you are taking responsibility for your own life and becoming less dependent on those around you. Even those who sincerely love you have finite time and energy and may not always be able to meet your needs. On top of that, they often have their own issues to be working on. If those close to you are not available or simply unable to give you adequate help, though it may be tempting to try and ignore the issue, it is far better to see a counselor. Problems don't fix themselves, and unpleasant emotions cannot be resolved by pretending they don't exist. Repressing your feelings is toxic to your mental well-being. If they are not consciously processed, they begin to bubble up to the surface in unexpected ways. Imagine a housewife who has deep feelings of sadness over a lack of creativity and fulfillment in her life. She needs an outlet to express and explore these emotions. If she tries to bury them, they are likely to surface in the form of health issues, victimhood, or frustration at those around her. What she is doing is trying to cope with the pain of her unexpressed emotions. Another common coping mechanism is numbing yourself with addictions, like binge-watching television or self-medicating. But your life is too short and too valuable for your innermost emotions to simply be something to cope with. By speaking with a counselor, you can listen to what these feelings are trying to tell you and start making positive changes in your life. Remember too, that any positive changes you make to your own life will benefit those around you as well. As you work on yourself and find greater peace within your own mind, others will be inspired by the positive change inside you and seek out your company more often. As you come to understand yourself and your own motivations better through counseling, you will gain a new perspective on the personality and motivation of others. These insights will help you let go of judgments born from ignorance and help you grow in kindness and compassion. Often people begin counseling with great confusion about themselves and the people in their lives. They don't understand why a situation has occurred, why people react to them as they do, or why they keep attracting the same types of people into their lives. Through counseling, this confusion and suffering is transformed into clarity and inner peace. Even more encouraging is that any new insights you gain through counseling will be with you permanently, forever bringing benefits to your life. For example, one person may discover in counseling that the reason their romantic relationships never last is because they have deep insecurities and feelings of unworthiness left over from the neglect they experienced in childhood, and so they unconsciously sabotage their relationships, rejecting their partner before they themselves are rejected. By working through this issue in counseling now, they can process their feelings, end this pattern, and spend the rest of their life in healthy and functional relationships. It may be painful in the short term, but the long-term benefits are worth it. You could think of seeing a counselor like running a virus check on your computer. Just like a big mansion and a fancy car can't magically create happiness, buying a fancy new computer screen won't help your computer run any smoother if the underlying software is compromised. Uncovering and working through unresolved issues and repressed emotions is like running a virus check and will allow your life to progress smoother and with far less pain, confusion, and suffering. In some instances, it may even save you decades of time and effort. Imagine a man who works extremely hard to become the CEO of a large corporation. He sacrifices everything along the way, his family, friends, and even his own health and well-being, because he sincerely believes that once he has reached the top, he will be happy. What happens when this man achieves his goal and discovers that he feels no different? He seeks out a counselor and speaks of his depression. By talking through his feelings, he soon discovers that all of his ambition was motivated by an unconscious quest to receive the approval of his emotionally distant father, which would never materialize. Through counseling, he discovers that he can relieve himself from this burden and finally be free to choose his own path. Had he sought out a counselor earlier in his life, he could have spared himself the tragedy of years of wasted effort, chasing a goal that could never be fulfilled. Some people believe that seeing a counselor is only something you do when you have a clearly identifiable problem that you need help with. This is like seeing a doctor when you are sick and hoping for a cure. While a counselor can fulfill this role, they can also be like a nutritionist or personal trainer, someone who promotes general health and well-being. In fact, waiting until your problems become overwhelming or your life is in crisis is not the best way to approach counseling. As with medicine, prevention is the best cure. There is no school subject teaching us how to process emotions, and for many people, their parents were not good role models. What's useful about a professional counselor is that in their interactions with you, they model the kind of relationship you should have with yourself, one of love, compassion, and acceptance. Eventually, with enough practice and modeling, you can become your own counselor. In the short term, though, it is incredibly valuable to have someone who listens to you, talks things through, and validates your feelings and perceptions. Occasionally, people are too ashamed to speak about an issue with their friends, and it is useful to test out a reaction with a counselor. By doing this, it is no longer an issue they have to work through alone. Through their counselor's acceptance, they can learn to accept themselves. However, it is important to understand that seeing a counselor is not an automatic fix. Like most things in life, you get out of it only what you put in. Seeing a counselor will bring many insights and benefits to your life, but only if you approach it with an open mind and sincere intent. Counseling will not work if you use it to avoid responsibility in your life. If you say to your partner, "My counselor says we should get divorced," then you have not taken responsibility for your decision. If you did want to separate from your partner, it would be better to say, "My counselor has helped me realize that I want a divorce," because this comment shows that you have taken responsibility for your choice. And so, if you have decided that your well-being is worth prioritizing and you want to see a counselor, where do you start? Firstly, try and think about what you want to achieve with counseling. This will be your best clue as to which type of counselor would be best suited for you. If you want to focus on the future, moving ahead and setting goals, then perhaps a life coach would best suit your needs. If, however, you discover in the process that there are unresolved childhood issues that you want to explore, then you may want to see a psychologist or trained therapist. If you are an extremely scientifically minded person, you might want to seek out an expert in neurology. Or, if you're a spiritually minded person seeking enlightenment, you might want to talk with a monk or spiritual master. Some counselors maintain a strict professional boundary and never talk about their personal lives. Others, like life coaches, frequently reference their own experiences as a means of demonstrating certain concepts. It's all about what you're most comfortable with. When it comes to picking a counselor, it is important to not rush the decision. Have a couple of sessions and see how it feels to you. If you're going to open up and explore some of your deepest fears and insecurities, it is absolutely essential that you feel safe and comfortable. Keep in mind that, as with every profession, some counselors are more capable than others. If your counselor interrupts you constantly, or seems to take things you say personally, then they may not have worked through their own issues adequately, and you might be better suited for someone else. No matter what type of counselor you end up with, by choosing to seek out counseling, you have taken the first step in a journey of growth and self-discovery. Though it may be hard, the deeper you go, the more you will understand, and the greater inner peace you will feel. By seeing a counselor, you have told yourself that you are valuable and worthy of high self-esteem and a fulfilling life.